Today you're going to learn how to add paper and tape to your figurine to create the body. So we're on part 2 on our handout, adding paper and tape. What we're going to do is scrunch up little pieces of paper and add them to make like the shape of the body and the arm and the leg. We'll do this in different sections, like little small sections, not in one big piece, as you can see on that handout. So I'm going to start with like the chest and the shoulders area. I'm going to start by just taking a piece of paper, ripping it into a small piece, scrunching it up really tight. I'll do this. What I don't want to do is like roll my paper because this won't get tight enough and it'll end up like just looking like a big tube on your person and it doesn't look realistic. So you have to do little scrunches of paper. You want them really tight and then you'll tape them on really tightly to your person. So your person is like nice and compact at the end. We'll figure out where that should go. I'm going to start with the arm. I'm just going to tape it right on there. The best way to do this is to get a big piece of tape. I'm going to rip it into small sections and put it on the edge of your table. That way you have all your little pieces of tape ready when you need them. So I'm going to take my first section. I just decided to start with the arm. I usually start with the arm or the chest. And I'm going to just tape that section on. I'm trying to get it really nice and tightly taped on there. And this is just one little part. It'd be like the under the bicep part. You need to have some more pieces. Scrunch those up really tightly. And this would go kind of on the top of the arm to sort of create a little bit more of that bicep. So even just for one section of the arm, I'm having to do like multiple pieces of scrunched up paper just to get one little section done. Now the goal is that we make this look like realistic. So it's going to take a lot of paper and adjusting, adding more pieces in different spots, checking it from all the different angles. I want to make sure that it's not flat like this. I'm kind of adding bulk to the front and the back of my figure to make it have some like depth. Like it should have a chest and a back. So I'm starting to add some of that bulk there, but this will take me a while. Let's say it takes me about 2 hours probably to complete one of these. I'm just adding lots of tape tightly on there to keep those pieces in. Still a little flat. Needs to like kind of come out and have like a curve, like there'd be muscles there. Same thing with the chest, but starting to see it kind of come together a little bit more. You want to make sure that your figure is also in the position. So this is the muscles that we're going for. You can see kind of like the shapes of things, and we'll have this up on the board as you work. But nothing is like skinny and flat. It all has like sort of bulk and shape. So I'm going to keep kind of adding to the chest here, building that out, working sort of one side to the next. And I really want to tape these pieces on really, really tightly. You can also see that I kind of created like a little wadded up stash so I can just grab from it and don't have to crumple up my paper every time, but it's up to you how you do that. Just get those taped on really tightly. Just keep adding, looking at it from all angles. It's still too skinny, so I'm gonna need to add more to the front and the back. I'm gonna start going on that arm. Right now my shoulder like needs to come out a little bit more, have more like bulk there. So I'm gonna start working on that section, building up those shoulder muscles to make it look more realistic. I'm going to show you how to make the head now. Just take a bigger piece and wad it up into a big ball. If you made the wire too small, that's okay. This can go over the wire. It doesn't have to fit on there perfectly. The wire is just kind of like holding the paper on, and tape it on tightly. Do the same thing on the back. So I did it on the front and on the back to make it more into like a sphere. And then as I'm looking at it, it's coming along. I'm going to need to finish up the top, add a little bit more bulk up there. And then I've got this next section here. So I'm going to take a small piece and I am going to fold this one into a pretty small strip. and then kind of try to like roll it around the neck and tape it on so that I definitely have that like neck differentiated from the shoulders and the head. You don't want your shoulders and your head to like grow into each other too much. So I'm going to stick that around there and tape it on. And now as I look, I kind of have this like slanting line, and that's good. I want that for my neck, but I also need to build up my shoulders a little bit more still to make that look more realistic into my neck. So you can see me kind of doing that there, building that up a little bit more to make it look realistic. You also don't want to have any holes. Here you can see that like I can see the wire, I can see the paper. I want to make sure that those get all taped up. At the end, we do not want to see any of our paper or our wire. It wants to all be covered in tape. So you want to keep building out the head. Right now it's way too flat looking at it from the side. The front looks good, but the side is too flat, the side angle like view. So I need to build out the front and the back. So I'm going to keep adding on paper to make that look more like realistic, the way that a head should be shaped. Adding on paper until it looks right. So again, I'm going to go back to that muscle, draw, like hand out, looking at what are the shapes of things. My shoulder's kind of getting built up here. You can see like I've been working on those. Have a good neck. Still need to have a little bit more in the head, but I'm just going to keep building that out until it looks correct. Now making the feet. On the bottom, you want to keep it flat. So if you put anything on the bottom, it's just going to be flat folded paper. On the top, you're going to do the scrunched up paper to make it round. So there's my foot. On the top, I'm going to do a piece of scrunched up paper to round it. But right now, I'm not going to put anything on the bottom. I just want to try to really keep that bottom flat. So right now it's pretty flat. I want it to be able to like stand on that. And I have a little bit of a gap in the back. I do not want to put a rounded piece on the bottom because it will not be able to stand. I just want to do rounded pieces on the top. You can kind of see if I'm trying to stand it up, it might be like leaning certain areas or ways. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold up a small piece of paper and then just attach it to the bottom to try to give it a little bit more stability. So kind of folding it, making it a little bit thicker. And then taping that on where I need it in the bottom. I need it a little bit more in the back to make it be able to stand and kind of stand on its own. So I'm going to tape that onto the bottom. And then you're just going to keep building out the body, the legs and the arms until it looks like a real body. Make sure there's no holes and no wire showing at the end. It should all be covered with tape.